Friday Coffee with your mortgage man, Eric. Today we're going to get into a question that I get asked quite often about this terminology out there called market correction. Are we in a market correction? We may be in a market correction, but we are certainly not in a recession. And here, let's dive into this. What's the difference between now and 2008, 2005? Let's do some comparisons and why I think we're a long way away from a recession. We'll never hit a recession again, and I certainly don't think we're going to have a depreciation. We may have a market correction, and let's talk about the difference in that. So, a market correction is just a little bit of a coming back to normality from the craziness, right? The craziness, the overbidding, multiple bidding. A home is for sale for $260 and it ends up selling for $270 with 8 offers on the table in a matter of hours. That is crazy. That is not a normal market. A normal market is an equity growth of what? Somewhere between 2 to 4% per year, right? That is a normal market. That's what we call a normal market. Not a depreciating market, right? So we may be having a market correction, but we by no means are having a recession nor a depreciation. Now there are certain pockets in this country that may be a little different. Seattle, Washington to San Francisco area, Sacramento, Los Angeles, New York City, Miami, and then we have Phoenix, which is one of the strongest and craziest markets right now as well. So what happened 10, 13 years ago that led up to that market correction that ended up in a recession and the bubble popped and all of that? So I'm hearing a lot of that rhetoric and lingo being used right now, and honestly I think it's being used in an ill manner. And look, I subscribe to several publications, and a lot of these guys, a lot of these gurus will tell you the same thing if you can tune into them, that yes, we may be having a market correction, but we're not headed to a recession. Here's what happened, 10, 13 years ago, right? We all know the 04, 05, 06 era, the subprime era. You fogged a mirror, you got a home, everybody was an investor, everybody was a flipper, everybody was a custom home builder. Everybody was building $500,000 homes when they were handymen 2 years prior to that, right? Everybody was doing it because you could go out and finance a piece of dirt with no money down or little money down and then build a home with hardly any money into building a custom home, right? And we had such this influx of inventory, this huge amount of inventory, because everybody was in this frenzy. I'm going to be a landlord. I'm going to be an investor. I'm going to own 6 homes. And then I'm going to take them, I'm going to flip them 5-6 months later. I'm going to make $50,000, right? There was that craziness. And there was that frenzy. And people were going crazy. And so builders had to keep up with that inventory, building, remember the term, McMansions in the middle of nowhere. 4,000 square foot homes out in Timbuktu that were selling for $500,000. That people were driving an hour each way to and from work in Phoenix. That might be normal for LA, right? Places like that. That's not normal for Phoenix. And so we were seeing that. A lot of inventory. Now, fast forward from the recession. By the way, the recession started in August 2007. That's when the margin call happened with the mortgage-backed securities. And then it just started off the edge from there. Most people didn't catch on until the following year in 08. Hey, we're in a recession or depression or whatever you wanted to call it. It was bad for almost everyone in those times. 08, 09, right? I think the bottom of the market, you could probably argue this in different parts of the country, was probably 2010, was probably the bottom that we hit in real estate. So fast forward, where are we at? 2018 is you don't have this overabundance of inventory. You have very, very little inventory. And that's why nobody in our industry or the gurus that talk about our industry are thinking that we're headed to a recession. There's just no inventory that would take us there. There just isn't. So, do we think that there's going to be a market correction in some markets? Yes, we do. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that home values are going to go down. Not necessarily. What that means in reality is You go from the cray being, I have a $270,000 home, and I'm going to list it, and within hours, I'm going to have 5, 6, 7 offers, and the top offer is probably going to be coming in $10,000 over my asking price. That's crazy. That's a crazy market. That's aggressive. And that's what we've been in. So when we say market correction or market stabilization, what we mean is that we may not see that kind of crazy activity any longer. We may get back to a normal market. Normal market being, hey, I'm going to list my home for $270,000. And you're going to come in and you're going to offer $260,000, and we're probably going to end up somewhere in the middle at $265,000, right? And knowing when you listed your home for $270,000, it wasn't worth $270,000, it was probably worth $260,000. That's all part of the game. Oh, no, home is worth $400,000. Put it on the market for $410,000, right? I mean, it's all part of the game. That's all how things work in real estate. You list it for more than you believe where you're going to end up. Negotiations, sales. So keep that in mind. So $270,000, putting on the market. I'm anticipating they're going to lowball me at $260,000. We'll probably end up around $265,000, and we move along with the sale of the home happily, right? Normal market activity is you're going to grow equity somewhere between 2 to 4%. You know, it depends on the market in the country. A normal, healthy equity growth per year. Nothing wrong with it. That's a normal correction or a market correction that is normal. Okay? That's all it is. That's all that we're saying. Now, with all that being said, rates aren't going lower. So if you're holding off until rates come back down, you're not going to be around, right? I mean, and look, if rates happen to go back down to the 3% range, what that means is that we did hit a recession. Excuse me. Our economy is in trouble. You don't want rates to be at 3%. All your yields on all your securities and your investments just plummeted. You know, there's a downside to low interest rates. We can probably get into that another day, another discussion, right? So keep that in mind. You see 3% again, something happened. Bad, okay? So I'm 46 years old. I don't ever anticipate rates going that low. And more than likely, they're probably going to stabilize, at least in the near future. They're probably going to stabilize, what we're being told, in the low 6% range. Why? Because that's a healthy economy. When the economy is healthy and everything else is producing yields, profits in that range, that's where mortgage-backed securities are going to be trading. Okay? So we need to accept that, oh, well, hold off. Rates are going to come back down. My neighbor told me so. My coworker told me so. Look, your neighbor and your coworker are not professional real estate folks. And if they are or dabble in it, well, it's not their full-time job, more than likely. They're not a professional lender. So my advice is take advice off of your realtor, real estate agent, and or lender. Mortgage licensed lender, not a customer service rep that works at a bank. So with that said, I hope you get a little bit out of this. Maybe it gets a few people off the fence and contemplating where to go next. And look, rents are on the rise. We know that. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy, you're going to continue to rent, and they're going to continue to keep raising the rent on you, right? What's that saying? The rent is too damn high. Anyhow, it's Friday Coffee. Your mortgage man, Eric. Make it a great day and a great weekend, guys. See you.